What's up, everybody? Dog 1985. There's levels to this. I got a quick video for you guys tonight. Did Nintendo make a mistake? I'm seeing a lot of people actually voicing their disdain for what Nintendo is doing right now with the Switch 2 and the prices and all that stuff. And 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 I see a lot of Nintendo defenders acting as if acting as if they forgot that Nintendo themselves have failed before. I I have no idea what's going on. People are literally forgetting that Nintendo has failed before. The Wii U does exist. Now, the Wii U itself, right? Because I own a Wii U, is a great console. However, the way Nintendo marketed it and the way Nintendo tried to explain it was not that great. I don't know if Nintendo truly understands what they're doing with the Switch 2 in terms of the way I see it. When the Switch 2 first drops, I think it's going to sell well because all of the people that are enthusiasts of Nintendo are going to know that it dropped and all that other stuff. But I'm thinking about a little bit further down the line, around the holiday time, around Christmas time, when people are in the stores and they're going to buy a Switch 2 and they're also going to see the regular Switch right next to it, and they're going to wonder what the big difference is. When the games are going to look similar, the cartridges are going to look similar, the form factor is going to look similar. It's going to be very interesting, except one is going to be way more expensive than the other. One is going to have more expensive games than the other. I don't know if Nintendo knows what they're doing. Nintendo is also a household name in gaming, but so is Sony. Some people would argue PlayStation and Nintendo, when it comes to household gaming, are probably equal in terms of popularity, knowing it, right? Like if you say PlayStation, Nintendo, like they're probably there, right? This holiday season, when a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, uncle is going to the store to buy something for somebody, if you see a $450 Nintendo Switch 2, and let's say you want to get a Nintendo for somebody, but you also see a regular Nintendo Switch for $400 or whatever it might be at the time, or you see a PlayStation 5 digital for 380, for 390, I don't know if Nintendo knows what they're doing, or even worse, you're looking at the games, right? Because remember, during the holiday times when people buy systems, listen, you a piece of work if you buy somebody a console and you don't buy them at least one or two games, right? So you're gonna be looking at the games as well. You're gonna be like, wait, the games for this cost $90 to $80, but the games for this cost $60 to $50, and that's just Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo price. I was actually at Target today. Nintendo Switch games are still $60, and old games like Tropical Freeze, I think it's like $50 still, which is crazy. But then you go to the PlayStation side and you see big titles that you know about, $40, $50, or even worse. You might be able to talk to somebody at the store that actually knows something about gaming and tells you what Game Pass is and Xbox ecosystem and all that stuff. I don't know if Nintendo really knows what they're doing. I feel like Nintendo had a shot if they would have priced this right to really take over. They really could have dominated. I think their greed right now is gonna hurt them because I'm seeing what the community is talking about. Listen, if you are defending Nintendo right now, you are the minority. I've never seen this like this before. Usually Nintendo, we all understand that Nintendo gets a pass, right? And even though we know what the Wii U is, see, the same people that try to argue that exclusives sell games, that exclusives matter, that exclusives sell consoles, can't explain why the Wii U didn't sell when the Wii U had exclusives. They can't explain it. The Nintendo Switch sold off of Wii U exclusives. They had to drop the games again on the Nintendo Switch But it was the same games that are on the Wii. Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U. Maybe you didn't know that. Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U. Maybe you didn't know that. But it didn't do what the Switch did because the hardware and the novelty of being able to take your games on the go was something that was new at the time. It wasn't done completely the same way. Now we have too many devices where you can take on the go. And I know people are saying that the price of a Nintendo Switch 2 compared to the Asus ROG Ally. Listen, you can get an Asus ROG Ally for $400. You can get an Asus ROG Ally for $500. And how much do you think the Asus ROG Ally is going to cost come Christmas time? But that's not even the biggest thing. See, when the Nintendo Switch first came out, you can argue that the competition it had with just regular cell phones wasn't that big. Now, these kids are playing everything on their phones as well. I don't know if Nintendo fully knows what they're doing because we're the ones that are going to be paying for this. We're the ones that are going to be buying these things for the little ones. The little ones don't make this money. And as a smart consumer, when you have a lot of options, I'm going to tell you this right now. I have a 10-year-old son that plays on PlayStation mostly. And the second thing that he plays on the most, actually, what he plays on the most for sure is his phone. His phone is the number one thing that he plays on the most. And I mean, plays video games. Like he plays Roblox on it. And he plays with his cousins. He plays with my godson. And none of them, I'm telling you right now, none of them play on the Switch. We have 4 Switches in my house. They're not used by anybody. Not anymore. I got an Asus ROG Ally. When we travel, like we just went to Universal Studios. We went to Orlando. Me and my son, we didn't bring our Switches. Juju didn't even bring his Switch. We brought the Portal. I brought my Asus ROG Ally. And my son brought his Lenovo Legion Go. We could have all brought our Switches. Nobody did. I don't know if Nintendo truly knows what they're doing. I could be wrong. But you're not going to gaslight me and pretend like Nintendo hasn't failed before. The Wii U was a failure. It was a great hardware, but I'm talking about as far as success goes. I don't know. I think this Switch 2 revealed has made PlayStation look even more phenomenal than it already looks. And Xbox, for those that are actually savvy and know what you get with Xbox, oh my goodness. For $20 a month, if you go with the highest tier of Game Pass, the amount of content that you're going to get, I don't know, Nintendo. You might be out of touch. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. Is the Switch 2 going to have Grand Theft Auto 6? The Switch 2 now is the hardware that's holding back gaming, right? Because developers will be making games for the Switch 2, so it'll no longer be the Xbox Series X. I don't know. All I know is I've never seen the community team up against Nintendo like this before. Everybody's on the same thing saying like, hey, Nintendo, you tripping. If you are defending Nintendo right now, you are the minority. I hope you know that. And for those of you that think you're slick talking about back in 1985, we used to buy Super Nintendo games for $85. Listen here, idiot. Just because something was done before doesn't mean that it should be done again. There's plenty of things in history that were allowed, that were done before, that you can't justify to do them now. You understand that, right? So I want you to really think when you're going to bring up something stupid like an article showing the Super Nintendo games for $90. Yes, that was still stupid. Oh, they don't know that this. No. Idiot, listen to me. A lot of things in history were allowed before. That if you tried to bring back now and you use that same logic, you would be looked at pretty weird. So don't do that. Think the way we are now. Look at the times the way they are now. We're smarter than we were back then, right? I would hope so. At least. We know more now than we did back then. I would hope so, at least, right? Don't justify bad practices before with the times of now. That makes that's so stupid. And when I see it, oh my God. And I see people that I like, people that I respect putting those posts up. I was like, oh my God, you're an idiot. So because you bought Super Nintendo games in 1987 for $95, you think that's a flex that now Nintendo doing this now, it's okay? Oh, freaking idiots. Doc Dog 1985, there's levels to this. We out. Peace. Tell them I said it.